So, tour's kicked off.
Tour's not really stopped this year.
So, what made you choose Sugarmill as sort of a venue?
We got very big. We're not very big, but the acceleration in our popularity was quite dramatic over a certain period of time this year. And I think that, well, we know Steve, who owns this venue. We have done for years. We did a little show in Newcastle, and then it seemed that we'd almost, the venues we were doing from one tour to the next, they almost kind of skipped venues of this size. And we didn't want to skip the place out, you know, so it was the biggest place that we could kind of find to play.
Yeah.
So it was cool. It's really nice because it's the smallest show. I mean, most of it's kind of like 2,000 capacity most nights, and this is 400. So it's going to be really, really fun.
So you've got obviously a mix of venues, so you've got small intimate ones like this, and then you've done like festivals, and you've got bigger shows to come up. So what kind of is your bag? Like, what do you like best?
There's two different concepts, I suppose, in regards to, from the perspective of the person on stage. I think I quite like big crowds because they act as more of a singular entity. They respond. It's kind of the jellyfish analogy, isn't it? They kind of respond at the same time. They move in the same time. They feels like quite an ergonomic situation in which you have a lot of control over. Whereas when you're in a small venue, the idea of the individual is a lot more apparent, and the idea of judgment and exposure and being a human being is a lot more at the forefront of your mind. I think that can inspire a better show. It can maybe take away from it, but I think I wouldn't like to say what I preferred because they're two totally different. It's like, what do you prefer, steak or chocolate? Depends what mood I'm in.
Cool. So you supported a local Stoke band previously, All the Young.
Yeah, we toured with them,
Yeah, so you're still in touch with those guys?
Yeah, Ryan's here.
Oh, right, fab.
Yeah, lovely guy. Well, our tour manager was their tour manager. That's where we met on that tour.
Oh, right, fab.
And he thought we were like fucking little shit. Well, we were. We were, to be honest with you. We were a nightmare. First show, we were like half an hour late for stage. And found us just getting high in the van. And we didn't realise the stage times had changed. And he became kind of almost like our dad. He has been for a year.
I suppose you feel like you've leapfrogged them slightly though with the new #1 album and this tour being so big.
Everybody. Yeah. We didn't mean to.
Still good though.
Oh, they're great band.
Oh, yeah.
So, like others like Bastille, they're all talking about you. So how does it feel getting respect from that sort of well-known artists that are out there now, and sort of getting them to kind of promote you in a way, the way that they talk to their fans?
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are saying stuff. A lot of celebrities and stuff. It's nice. It's that ASAP Rocky line, isn't it? It's like my heroes say what's up to me. It's that kind of vibe. I think I've really buzzed off meeting like some of my heroes like David Byrne, Talking Heads, and a lot of people. It's nice. I like the whole reciprocated respect amongst your peers, and I think that fans really buy into it as well. Fans love it when someone they like and someone else they like tweets each other, or there's a photo. Photo of me, like Ellie Goulding went up the other night. She was at our show.
Right.
People love all that shit. They love. It's cool. I mean, it's really nice. It's really flattering. But I mean, I was just making, 9 months ago, I was just in my bedroom making records with them before, and kind of the same thing.
Yeah. So you obviously produce quite a lot of your songs in your bedroom. That must have made it quite a freedom thing for you to kind of do what you wanted to do and not kind of be pressured by someone else.
What we're defined by, really. We're signed to our best friend and manager's label. We produced all of our own records. Co-produced the album with somebody that really, really respected what we did anyway. Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of major label interest when we had like Another Name in like 2011 and stuff, and we just realised it wasn't for us. If we were going to do it, we were going to do it our way. And we realised that we've been demoing so much that the demos actually had a lot more of our identity in them than anything else we were recording outside of that. So we just decided to put them out, and they became the EPs. And then it kind of just snowballed.
So how are you going to like continue with that now? Obviously you are signed to, a label, and your album's #1. Are you still going to try and keep that raw feel within the music?
Well, yeah, we will do. I mean, like the album, for example, we demoed the entire album in my bedroom. Then took the songs, took the actual files on the computer, and then built an album on top of it. So a lot of the original sounds, a lot of the original stuff, they're all still from my bedroom on that number one whatever album. But we just kind of used it as the skeleton and then dressed it up in a studio that was like kind of musical Disneyland. You know, it was quite fun. I think that I don't really care that much about anything apart from making music. And I think that you can, you know, I think it's the whole thing like when you're in a relationship. Right, you know, when you're in a relationship with somebody and then you both start talking about how are we going to make it work. So say for me, if you have to go on tour or something, how are you going to make it work? If you love that person enough, it doesn't matter. You just make it work. It will work. Because that's what you want. It's the same with music. You know, I could have every logistical thing thrown at me. I get 2 hours here. You have to sleep in fucking Sri Lanka one night, New York City the next night. But if you love making music, then you'll make music. That's what I think, anyway.
So you've recently supported the Rolling Stones. Pretty big achievement in sort of a first year of coming out. How was it? Explain it.
Amazing. It was weird. It was it's one of those things. There's such a build up to it. You kind of think about it so much. Then when you get there, you're like, I need to be taking this all in. But you've got to remember, you're still going out on a stage. The Rolling Stones may be playing later, but for that minute, it's still you and your mate stood on the stage in front of how many people. So you're not really thinking, oh, I need to take this in. You're thinking, no, I've got a show to do. So it was amazing. Then Jagger was on the side of the stage. He was singing and dancing to Chocolate. That was amazing. It was a tough show, the first couple of songs. People weren't really into it, but then they got more. It was
fab. So you've been kind of labelled an indie rock band, but how would you describe your sound? Because most people have maybe heard some of the, you know, like Sex and Chocolate, but they may not have heard the other songs on the EP, which can be quite different.
I think the whole indie band thing's just so easy, isn't it? I mean, it's very much a cosmetic analysis of who we are. If at the end of the day, if we were black guys, we wouldn't be called an indie band. We'd be, you know, Pharrell would be making our next record now. It's that kind of thing. I think that we're very, very inspired by American black music, and the song "Sex" has made people think we're an indie band. It's as simple as that. Because there's so much of a stylistic polarity throughout our music. It goes from really, really heavily inspired R&B to kind of experimental, ambient music to, I suppose, straight up kind of like indie pop music with Sex. And we released Sex as a single, and we always knew. I used to be scared. I used to worry. I used to be like, well, if we put this out, people are going to get the wrong impression. But what I realised early on is that when we're at our best is when we're not really thinking about anything, when we're just doing what we do. So the fact that I'd thought maybe we shouldn't put Sex out made me think, well, you're thinking about it, just put it out. And we did. I don't care. If people want to listen to one song and decide, you know, this band is like my identity. It's like 16 tracks that totally define my personality, which I believe to be quite a 3D dimensional thing. And if people want to, you know, listen to one song and make their mind up, then they're kind of limiting their own life. You know, something like that.
So what's your sort of reaction to also, you know, other music critics and stuff referring you to as a Manchester band as well, when you're actually from Cheshire, from Wilmslow? So how does that kind of, does a geographical location mean anything to you?
No, that's exactly it. Our geographical location has never been a very inspiring thing for us, nor do we really like the idea of anybody being judged on where they're from for whatever reason. Yeah, I mean, Manchester, that's going to happen. You can't be from Manchester and then get pissed off when people mention it, if that's just the case. There is this kind of, like this kind of stoic adherence towards past bands in Manchester, that tribalist attitude that really, really sticks to everything that's been. I think the reason that people like us refreshing is because we don't wear the Manchester badge of honour, we don't really care. I've said about 5 times I don't really care in this interview, but I think that's good.
You're just doing your thing,
Yeah, I
and
don't really
people
care.
like it, then they like
Exactly,
it.
like we just made music in my bedroom for us as 4 individuals, and people started embracing it. So why should I care about anything else? I'd care about the Manchester music scene if I'd been trying to be a Manchester fan. If I tried to be in this position, I'd probably care a lot more about all the statistical and material things. The only things that I really care about are the really, really humane elements and the processes of validation on a human level, on an interaction level, and on an artistic level. I don't really care about the statistical, materialistic kind of number 1, number this, 100,000 that. It's quite boring. It sounds boring, doesn't it? Numbers. It's literally boring.
So you're obviously going all over the place on your tour. US, quite, heavy mentions in US, and then Europe as well. Is there anywhere in particular in the US or in Europe that you're really looking forward to kind of gigging at?
Like everywhere, man. It's such a boring thing to say everywhere, but if you think about it, it's that whole analogy. It's like I always get really excited every night because it's so different. If you, in your hometown, if you throw a party and 30 people turn up, that's wicked. It's a really good feeling, and it makes you feel really, really proud and good, and it makes you kind of want to walk around and make sure, it becomes your environment. Imagine doing that every single night across the world for like 2,000 people, because that's what it feels like.
Yeah, amazing.
It's fucking wicked. So I don't think about it in regards to that. You can smash it up. In regards to that, we had just as much fun playing in New York City as we did in Jacksonville, Florida. It's good fun.
So I bet it's obviously loads of fun spending it with your closest mates as well, but is there ever a time when you think I actually kind of need my own space and how to chill out?
The homeless word sounds a bit dramatic, but at the moment I don't have anywhere to live at the moment. I live here. So for me, there's a kind of yearning for somewhere to call my own. But you really, really embrace it, you know what I mean? Yeah? If you're in your 20s and you're in a band that's this popular, that's doing something from such an indulgent perspective, I don't have time to talk to my girlfriend. I don't have time to speak to my mum. Which means I don't really have a lot of time to resent anything. So in the one time that I do have to resent stuff, I might as well spend it embracing all of the stuff that I do have. Like all of my best friends, like my lighting guy, merch guy who does our videos, been my best friends for 10 years, We're not fucking about as the 1975. We're not like a bunch of kids who met at uni and that kind of thing. We are. That rectangle in there that's going to be lit up, that represents like the 15 people that make up like our life. And this band has always been the nucleus, and everything is always orientated around the outside of it. And now it's been embraced on an international level. So to spend any time resenting the pedantic, tedious elements of maybe getting bored or tired or not being able to do your washing, it's like I'd rather be able to not do my washing and not have personal space than be able to do my washing every day after I get home from a fucking shit job.
Good point.
So true, so true. So what do you kind of have in store for us tonight, as in like sort of the set list? Is there anything not on the album that you're kind of showcasing on your tour?
No, we're not playing any new stuff. We're playing stuff off the EPs.
Yeah,
and we're playing the majority of the album. We won't be playing Menswear, and we won't be playing Is There Somebody You Can Watch You? But we'll be playing pretty much the whole album. And I don't think the Sugarmill's seen a production quite like this one for a while.
Amazing.
It's half the production because we couldn't fit it in. We couldn't bring our lights. We couldn't bring. Well, we've got like the big box, like the artwork. We normally have a wall with white lights behind us, but we don't have it. We're very dramatic. We probably would be seen as pretentious, but like I said, I don't give a fuck. This is just me and my mates having fun, and if it means this much to people, we might as well make it as grandeur and as dramatic as a spectacle as we know it has the potential to be.
It's a bit of an expression of yourselves as well in the music that you kind
it
of
would be
perform
It would be more pretentious and try hard if we didn't do that. Because then we'd be thinking about being cool. I don't care about being cool. That's what we're about. Lights, You know what I mean? Like, we love Whitney Houston, but we fucking love Nine Inch Nails. We love Michael Jackson, but we love Leonard Cohen. It's that whole synergy between really, really uplifting music contrasted with an aesthetic and a narrative that's actually quite dramatic and quite self-aware.